Estimados amigos, muy buenas noches. Bienvenidos a un nuevo live de IDM Educación en el marco del Diplomado Internacional de Odontología Digital IDM Educación 2025. El tema de hoy, el futuro de la planificación virtual. El futuro, digo, porque no es solamente hoy la oportunidad de tener softwares, sino de cómo estos se están transformando para nosotros. ¿Y quién mejor que el doctor Dwiandri de Indonesia? El doctor Dwiandri es un especialista en prostodoncia formado en la Universidad de Airlangga de Indonesia, donde completó su programa de odontología 2013 al 2019 y su especialización en rehabilitación oral o prostodoncia 2024. A su corta y temprana edad ha sido destacado ponente en diferentes importantes eventos internacionales, incluyendo también ser docente de nuestro diplomado en 2022, 2023 y también en 2024. Ha tenido la oportunidad de dictar en eventos como el 𝗩𝗑𝗥𝗢 2024, Congreso de Odontología de 𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗢 en 2024 y ha formado el grupo del equipo de Clone Dental Pro en Indonesia, contribuyendo al avance de la odontología digital de la región. Este es un webinar especial porque se va a dar en inglés, teniendo la oportunidad de compartir y expresar esta internacionalización de nuestro diplomado. Dear Made, we are extremely happy to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor, for having me. Thank you so much for the opportunity here, and good evening, I think, for people in Brazil and Peru and another country.
And the whole Latin America, my friend, you know, we have more or less 12-hour difference. So while we are at night, you are very early in the day, right?
Yeah. 7 a.m., Doctor, right here.
It's yes. So I mean, it's part of that you are in the future for us, more or less like that. And in terms of the future, my friend, you have been sharing your and showcasing your work in all this social media, which you will be invited to share among these viewers today. Of course, the students of the Diplomado have the chance to already know you and see how you have been doing breakthroughs in virtual planification in the dentistry area in Indonesia and Asia, because mostly Latin American people probably don't know that Indonesia has a strong industry and a strong group of dentists that have been developing solutions, and that's why I'm extremely happy to have you here, my friend. So we are going to share about the topic of the future of digital planning, virtual planning, a topic that you have been not only having very close to you, but also moving boundaries in terms of the application of clinical practice. So, my friend, my first question for you is, what key technological breakthroughs are shaping the future of virtual planning in different areas that you are working on? What can you share about your thoughts in this topic, my friend?
Okay, thank you so much for the question, Doctor. So the question is about the breakthrough in the dentistry field and also in medical field, I think. So I think this 5 years is the golden age of digital dentistry, right? Because because the globalization of the dentistry, like intraoral scanner, like 3D printing and milling, is also developing very quickly. And right now it's about the predictability of the outcome, right, Doctor? So in my field is prosthodontic. So I'm doing full mouth rehabilitation and also smile rehabilitation. And there is some cases, a lot of cases, I think, that will be so impossible for us to overcome if we don't know the digital process, Doctor. Because if we don't know the digital process, we cannot predict the outcome of the smile. When I was in Florence with you, I had some insights with Dr. Miguel Stanley, which my
Mhm.
idol.
Mhm.
So with if you want to make your uh, treatment treatment more prestige and more predictable and more efficient, then you will need to bring more weapon, right? Right now, the
Yes.
for these 5 years, the weapon is digital dentistry, doctor. And with digital dentistry, we can predict the outcome, even the orthodontic outcome. My brother is also orthodontist, and he also do some orthodontic surgery planning, like doing some surgical wafer, so we can merge the CBCT and the intraoral scan into making a surgical wafer, whether it is one jaw or two arch, two jaw, like maxillary and mandibulary. And also there is implant planning. For implant planning software is also developing very quickly. There is for some hard cases, I think planning is a must, because when we fail to predict the prosthodontic outcome, like the angle of the implant, etc., in all on X patient, I think there will be difficulty in making the prosthesis. And what I'm doing is about the full mouth rehabilitation, and I'm also experiencing uh, very very easiness in full mouth rehabilitation with digital dentistry, because when we do some full mouth rehabilitation, we have to make it like RCP style in the jaw, and then it is actually very hard for me if we do it conventionally, because when conventional there is a bite registration that will so jumpy when you will the for the articulator, but right now we just scan the intraoral. And also there is a hardness in conventional, because we cannot visualize the patient's face, doctor, because the patient's face in full rehabilitation is very important for me, and I think for the industry, because what do we rehabilitate when it is not in integration with the face?
Facial
Because
driven.
we have, yes, because we have intrapupil and what is the, is nasal, and there is so also the horizontal plane. If we don't include the face right there, the horizontal plane, we don't know is it candid or etc. Yeah, because I have a patient when we just do the intraoral scan and do the digital wax up, and with only the intraoral scan, and the outcome for the mock-up is like
Uh-huh.
candid. Yeah, yeah,
Tilted.
it's
Okay.
not very predictable.
So,
And
so
right now,
my friend,
yep, yep,
for
yep.
instance, in your expertise, which I remember, I know your work, but I would love you to share with the audience which are the usual softwares for virtual planning that you are using right now.
Yeah. What I love is Exocad, doctor. I love Exocad, and right now
Oh,
I'm using the LFCina, what is it? LFCina style,
okay.
the LFCina, yeah, LFCina. And
Yes.
what I love about Exocad is it is very flexible, so we can um, merge everything right there, like extra wax up scan, extra jaw scan, and extra face scan. And right now we also developing with you with Clone Dental. Clone Dental, it integrates photogrammetry and light detection and ranging in iPhone, which is a phenomenal breakthrough in dentistry, because before we only have photogrammetry and the measurement is not correct, right, doctor? We have to
Mhm.
calibrate it first, but with clone, it already with the precise millimeters, so we can just
Yes.
overlap it and then and we can do the planning.
I totally agree with you, my friend, because let's differentiate dentist that likes like you that likes to put the hands on the planning and does the hard work on the software, make found ease on exocad or similar softwares. Exocad, it's for excellence, the one that has been there, and it is there for these small detailed solutions made for this. Not being the only, of course, because you were a strong user of mesh mixer, for instance, and definitely it's something that you may, not sure if you still use it, but once was a thing that was helping when exocad maybe was so expensive or not available. So in the experience of your students, what do you think, and the colleagues that you have around in Indonesia and other parts of Asia that you are connected with, what do you think they value the most from a software?
Okay. There is two types of software. There is a free and paid, and also the paid there is a cheap and expensive, doctor. So the value of software, I think it's like the value of Microsoft Word for us. Yeah, the Microsoft Word is very uh, undoable, undoable and redoable, and we can change the font and font size, etc. And the software can also undoable, redoable, and we can also change the font of the teeth. So from the software, we can for the conventional we just use the wax up and we rely on our muscle memory, right? Right, doctor. We don't really care about the characteristic. We don't really care about the face of the patient, etc. But for the most important things in the software is that one is so adjustable, and we don't really need much experience like the wax up experience, etc. We can just put a template on it, and we can have a lot of characteristic of incisor and etc. And that one is the major advantage of the software, and also the efficiency. The efficiency, because when we can predict the outcome, we can predict the treatment plan also, doctor. And we can, and after we predict the treatment plan, we can also predict what we're gonna do next, and what we can cut in that treatment outcome. That is
That
the
that is the
function.
biggest thing. I mean, that would be the introduction for my second question, which is, you have already mentioned it, but let's get deep into how does virtual planning improve your clinical efficiency and your patient outcomes, and maybe which you can tell us or discuss specific metrics such as reduced chairs time, that fewer treatment iterations. Can you share with us how have been your learning curve using as an advanced user of these different softwares? How have been for you in that part of the world?
Okay. So for the second question is about the efficiency and outcomes in our chair side, right, doctor?
Mhm.
So here is the thing in Indonesia, doctor. Indonesia has some unique characteristic, because maybe like in Brazil, in Indonesia there is only maybe 5 major cities that we can efficiently deliver the
Okay,
models of the tooth. And
interesting.
if we just see in Surabaya, like my city, in Jakarta, like the most biggest city in
Biggest city.
Indonesia, yeah, there will only an hour or etc. with the delivery progress, or with the different city maybe just one day. But in rural area, doctor, in rural area there is when I survey in that area, there is around almost 7 to 10 days only for delivery, doctor. Yeah,
Wow.
and after the lab done it and do it back, deliver it back, it may be around 2 weeks until 3 weeks.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that, and can you imagine that was also for the wax up, right? And
And
if we, okay, just yeah,
and you have 17,000 islands. So your rural area, it's going by boat to after a boat and after a boat.
yeah,
And I can
definitely.
imagine we have some sort of those problems in most parts of Latin America. Probably Brazil may have those. Brazil, it's kind of very well decentralized. Almost every state of Brazil has its own solutions, none depending on a central basis. But the rest, I mean, Peru concentrates the 70% of the offer in Lima. And we have highlands that can go to up to 5,000 meters and have cities on those scenarios. So our rural areas also have those difficulties to rely on labs that are sort of far, and the quality it's affected, and it's directly affected by the how close you are to these providers. So I hear you, my friend, and that most probably happens in Ecuador, in Colombia, in Venezuela, and a lot of countries here that are far logistically to the best providers or the gold standards that we would like to share or to use with our patients. So I totally hear you, and how important it is for us to hear that in the other part of the world, 12 hours apart, they also have this same logistics problems. So that's why lab side solutions inside of your clinic, with the ability for the clinician to handle some stuff, it is important. It's not a question of how I prefer to work, it's the must for some cases. And digital dentistry provided that opportunity, because who may do some metal frameworks or can do some injection of ceramics. So that's a key point on having not only the softwares but the machinery. And nowadays we have very cheap opportunities in terms of materials and in terms of machines, like in printers, not yet cheap milling machines, but yes, printing machines. So that's a key point that I'd like to. So how you have seen the digitalization of your further cities, or the cities that are now having the access of these printers and softwares. Have you seen that penetration of this technology on these rural areas?
Yes, doctor. Because in this rural area, there is a penetration of digital dentistry, but there is also I don't know what to call it. It is maybe mental blockage, like when you are when you are a conventional dentist and there's something new, there is a first mental blockage. But I think in some area is also enthusiastic for this kind of approach, because like as you say, the coming for lab in your clinic is important, but there's also a matter of quality, doctor. What I say is you don't really need to have a lab like from scan to outcome, like ceramic injection, etc. No, you just need scanner and 3D printer. And just imagine when you do the smile makeover, doctor. When you do smile makeover, up is a must, right? Wax up is a must. And wax up, in terms of what I'm telling you, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks delivery, and a lot
It's
of
impossible. You can
opportunity.
do a good dentistry if you have a 3-week delivery.
Yes, definitely.
The soft tissues will be affected. I don't know. There are a lot of reasons. It can be done. Definitely, it can be done. But the question is, which is the quality of life of the patient and the doctor behind those delays, right?
Yes. So our goal should be to cut the delay, doctor. To cut just the 3 weeks. So when the digital dentistry come, I think they don't need to have a milling machine. They don't really need to have like metal, like etc. Because it is another learning outcome, doctor. So I think they only need to have 3 major factors. That is intraoral scanner, so you can use the internet to deliver, and then the 3D printer, so you can print the digital wax up what you design in one day instead of 3 weeks, right? Or maybe just 2 hours, you can already done the patient for the initial wax up. And the third one is the software, of course. And I think they only need these three, and they can already cut 3 weeks until 1 month off. And we also have to consider the rejection from the lab, right? So yeah,
The
so
rejection for yourself.
yes, the rejection for I mean this one, doctor. Like uh, I also experienced in my early days when I deliver my conventional conventional impression to the lab. There is, yeah, you have to reduce it more for the teeth because the material will not fit, because material thickness is not sufficient, and then you have to deliver back. You can, yeah, the patient have to come to your clinic also, and just imagine how many years will it be to
Years.
spa makeover.
Full
So
mouth rehabilitation
yes,
over
but
those will be like forever.
definitely yes, but with these three major factor, you can cut those weeks or month in 1 day, doctor, in 1 day and maybe hours. So for the rural area, I don't think we need like solution, because when you want to mill, you also have to have a good ceramics also, right? Because yeah, that's a lot of training also for the rural area, which I don't really think they need that. And what they need is only just for the initial treatment, like from the wax up and for the guided preparation, and also you just send it to the major city is okay, but for only the final restoration, doctor, not for the initial. I think that will uh, boost the efficiency of the rural area.
You have get deep into some important topic. We cannot think about digital dentistry only of the major city dentistry, on the Mars dentistry that have everything. I would like to play with Mars dentistry as like the best work place so far that we are from that place, but there are some corners in our own places that actually will not have the access for logistics. It's not about the budget, it's about the logistics of providers. And definitely dentistry in this digital transformation, it's overcoming a lot of those circumstances, because where there was no possibility to work on, now there is, with few resources. And now that there are a lot of much cheaper scanners, we are able to transport them. And in your part of the world, I imagine that scanners are even cheaper than for us, because are closer to China, to Korea. I'm not sure if Indonesia has its own scanner. We have one Chilean scanner, but it's not yet out of the Chilean population. So we are now importing technology in this source. But let me ask you, for this decentralization of the virtual planning of treatment plans, software, on the abilities of the person who is going to lead its own clinic, its own lab, my third question would be, which training and professional development opportunities would you suggest?
Okay, so I will tell you the background of Indonesia. That's why we need the digital dentistry decentralization, doctor. So I did some research. It is from ChatGPT. So Brazil
Okay.
has total of 195 and 441 dentists, 195,000, and
It's
with
a
the
lot of dentists.
approximately 211 million people in Brazil, right?
Okay,
But
yes.
in Indonesia, doctor, there is only register 38,000, around 38,000 dental professionals, and with the estimated population is 285.7 million people, doctor. So it
Wow.
is, yes, it is, yeah. It is considerably much larger population than Brazil, but much fewer than this in Indonesia. Yeah,
You have the
and
same amount of dentists that Peru has,
yeah,
and
but
we
Peru
have
is,
31 million. You have almost 10 times more population than Peru, and you have the
yes,
same amount of dentists.
yeah, Yeah, that's why
Let's go
the
over to
dentist in
Indonesia.
Indonesia, yes, approximately 1.33 dentists per 10,000 inhabitants. But for Peru, it is already 3.3 dentists per 10,000 population, doctor. In Brazil, 9.2 dentists per 10,000. So there is some gap in that fulfillment of needs, and also there is also a problem in Indonesia, what I call about the major city. So the dentists will come, yeah, they will gather in
Majors.
major cities, yeah. And how about the other cities? And that's why we cannot change the mind of the dentist like that. It's a matter of nation, right? but
Mhm.
but for the knowledge of the dentist we can change. So if they have a digital knowledge, then they will also think about the possibilities of the efficiency, doctor, whether they are in the rural area or they are in the big area. Yeah, there will be knowledge about the digital, and there will be knowledge of internet, and there will be knowledge of yeah, the outcome and possibilities. That's why the basic needs of digital workflow training is a must in Indonesia. And what I think we have to train them is about the scanners, of course, because without the scanner we cannot enter the digital world. And about the efficient, I mean the efficient is not always the time; it's always
Okay.
about the cost also. Like, uh, how can you believe and how can you believe in the skill of the cheap intraoral scanner compared to the expensive intraoral scanner when we
Mhm.
give them the education about the nature of the scanner? I think they will also have some knowledge in case selection, doctor. So
Mm.
which one I can do it efficiently, which one we cannot do it efficiently with the chip scanner, and then also some 3D printer, 3D printer education, 3D printer knowledge, and there is a cheap 3D printer and there is a expensive 3D printer. I think that is the most operational education we can do to solve the problem, especially in Indonesia.
In
Yeah.
other words, it has to be training in the whole stages from intraoral scanning, virtual planning, extraoral scanning, CCVCTs, integration, merging, if you're a prosthodontist, implants, endo, and the materials behind the manufacturer. So definitely, I agree, Mare, and I would like to do a small um, abstract of what we have been sharing in Spanish to our colleagues, porque mira, parte de la discusión importante, estimados amigos, es cómo en un país como Indonesia, que tienen 10 veces más población, casi 10 veces más población que Perú, 9 por ahí, pero tienen más o menos la misma cantidad de dentistas. Son un país que tiene 17.000 islas con áreas rurales distantes. La odontología digital en un país como el de ellos ha permitido descentralizar los centros de producción progresivamente, a pesar que en los grandes estados o provincias que tiene este país hay la concentración de profesionales, pero aquellos que no están con proveedores como laboratoristas u otros dentro de la cadena de producción de los trabajos de odontología, la odontología digital les ha ayudado de forma dramática. Y por eso, Madre, como estuve comentándole, una persona, profesor y doctor que conozco ya hace varios años, más o menos unos 5, he visto su trabajo, su evolución en planificación virtual, en personalización y en proveer servicios de planificación a muchos otros colegas. Entonces, me resulta destacada su participación el día de hoy porque comenta realidades paralelas muy próximas. Al otro lado del mundo están pasando los mismos problemas que en nuestro continente, y eso destaca este último punto, que es el de la necesidad del colega de ser independiente en su criterio tecnológico y de formarse progresivamente en educación.
the mental blockage about the digital, because when you can learn about the digital and you can work efficiently, your city and maybe your village will be much more prosperous in the outcome for this. And therefore, yeah, digital dentistry is like you are learning with Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, but first you really want to do it in paper, right? And there is also a mental blockage, like my father before. Like, yeah, you can imagine how hard he is where he was when we learn about the WhatsApp, WhatsApp, web, and etc. It is very hard, but right now he cannot live without WhatsApp, right? Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's just the same with digital. So just learn it and just feel the efficiency of the digital, and you will not want to apart for it anymore. I think that's the summary.
Once you go back, you never go. Once you go in, you never go back, right?
Definitely right.
I will answer a question from our viewers. I will answer it in Spanish, my friend, okay? El diplomado incluye módulos prácticos en los que los participantes puedan interactuar directamente con software y herramientas digitales utilizadas en odontología. Definitivamente, es parte del valor principal que tiene el diplomado, el tener la oportunidad de repetir experiencias, de tener retroalimentación y de conseguir un flujo que se adecue a lo que ustedes necesitan. Eso es definitivamente. I have another question. En cuanto a formación, ¿qué consejos daría a los estudiantes de odontología digital para tener éxito en la integración de planificación virtual en su práctica profesional? Pues la respuesta a esto está en lo que el doctor Made ha conseguido reunir, que es el entrenarse en cada una de las diferentes etapas. Es indiscutible que hay una curva de aprendizaje y hay una estrategia de estudiar cada una de las etapas, porque si uno ve de golpe todo es abrumador. Por consecuencia, qué mejor tener la oportunidad de un programa formativo formal que vaya paso por paso, medio que llevándote de la manito para que puedas ver estos contenidos de una forma estructurada. Dear Mare, we have reached the end of this journey today. We are anxious to see your newest lessons and classes in our next 2025 version of the diplomado. There is no English word for that. It's like our training course. And we are excited to have you on board always. And definitely we're going to see each other on the Venice Congress this year. I hope you will be able to go on the Digital Dentistry Society. Let's make it happen, my friend.
Let's go.
Let's make it happen. Thank you very much, Mare.
Thank you, Doctor.
Terima kasih for all
Muchas gracias.
For el sama-sama. So we are very, very happy to always have you here, and definitely I want to share with Peruvian, Latin American population of dentists that you can also provide virtual planning for this part of the world. So please, you want to share your Instagram ad so they can find you? How they can find you on Instagram?
Should I type here or?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I think this is my Instagram.
Okay. Made Dwiandri.
Yeah.
As his name. Just unan su nombre y su apellido, Made Dwiandri, y van a tener la oportunidad de encontrarlo. Está también su nombre completo en los brochures de nuestro diplomado. Van a darse cuenta que su trabajo es espectacular. Estimados amigos, hemos llegado al final de esta sesión. Gracias por acompañarnos y nos vemos en la próxima ocasión. No se olviden que este abril comienza esta nueva edición 2025 de nuestro diplomado y estamos listos para arrancar con todo. Un fuerte abrazo. Dear Made, thank you very much. See you in the next occasion.
Thank you, Doctor. Good morning.
Have a nice one.